Hi there, I'm Kerry Grace. Oh my goodness, you would have laughed if you had seen me getting ready for my own 10 at 10. I brought you out into my backyard for my 10 at 10. A lot of us are working from home now, and personally for me, living and working in regional Australia, it's quite a delight to be based at home for my office. So what is my name and company name and location? So I'm Kerry Grace, and you probably know me as the Director of Regional Development for Regional Development Australia Mid-North Coast. You may not know that I also run a company called Evolve Group Network, and Evolve was established in 2003. And so how many years have you been in business? We've almost been in business for 20 years, which is quite a great celebration. I'm really excited about that. The next question is, what is your preference for marketing the business and why? Is it Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram or other? So Evolve's work's all about building community leaders in regional Australia, and it does that in a couple of ways. And the reason I need to explain that is we use different social platforms for different purposes. So part of our business model is called Retreat in the Regions, and Instagram's really great. It's a really excellent platform for that particular business. And another part is Facebook. I use Facebook a lot for connecting with people and letting them know that I'm a real human being with kids and alpacas and pets and fruit trees and bills and all the rest of it. So Facebook, I think, is a good place where you can go to just be a real person. Good morning, Russell Pell. LinkedIn is obviously a little bit more professional, but I kind of think if we get carried away with creating a fake persona on social media platforms, which a lot of people can do, it's going to come unstuck at some time. So even if you're using one to be professional and one to be whoever it is that you are in real life or a version of that, just try and gel them together. So the shorter way of answering that is I quite like all of the social platforms, but for different purposes. Now, the next question is, what has been your biggest business disaster and how did you turn that around? And my honest answer to that is I constantly create business disasters. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I call that innovation. Disaster is an interesting word to frame. I actually think making mistakes, provided nobody gets hurt, is a really important thing. One time I can think of my business making a disaster of sorts was I gained life coach qualifications, and I tried to take the business from our standard model, which was consulting and training, and turn it into more of a coaching, team building type of entity. And what that did for my client base was it shrunk it very quickly. So I had to realize at that point two things. Now, the first thing was that we shouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater, and it's really important to keep what you've already been going. But the other bit is you've got to give things long enough for them to actually catch on. And I hadn't done that with the coaching by the time I got a little bit tired with it. So sometimes it might seem that you're screaming out into the air and nobody's hearing it, but maybe people actually are. You just need to give it a little bit more time. And like I said, I don't think there's a lot that's wrong with disasters as long as nobody gets hurt. What are your most important business tools? Well, I guess my phone and my computer are, hi Heidi, they are my most important tools, and quite often I'll work in very strange places like sitting in a car park waiting for a child to complete their sporting activities, and having a laptop and a tethered internet connection makes that absolutely possible to do that in this day and age. So without my phone and laptop, I'd probably find business pretty difficult to do. But I mean, the other really important part about business is the human beings. And I found being a sole trader, hi Sandra, I found being a sole trader, it could get really lonely. And I know a lot of you will be experiencing that from time to time. So my network of friends and colleagues and associates and even customers have been critical for me over the years. Hey Lizzie, to be able to stay connected with people, get ideas. And even if you're not a really big company, I think I might have missed a question there. Big or small? Small is my favourite. Even if you're not a really big company, you can expand your knowledge base and your peers by having those really strong connections outside of your business. What is your most prized business system? When I find a system that's going to help me manage my day, that will be my prized business system. I found the tool when we were using it called Monday worked really well. So monday.com it is. And what the system did was enable me, hey Leisha, it enabled me to be able to look at everything that my team's doing and be able to create some kind of sense out of a very busy work schedule. So that system was good. But in the meantime, the systems that we have in place at RDA that are about communicating with the team, they're the most prized systems that I have, because it helps me to see that everybody's on track and we can catch up with each other once a week. Particularly important during COVID times. Oh, there's that question. What is your preference running a small or large organisation? I have worked for big organisations. I used to work in advertising. Oh, now I've told everyone. Anyway, I used to work in advertising in big companies, and my job was to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on things that would annoy people, aka ads. I also worked for Fairfax at one point in the procurement department, and I've just found working for small organisations, you can be a lot more creative, and you need to be more multi-skilled as well. I really, really like small. That's my thing. How do you maintain work-life balance? Let's go to the next question. It's a bit facetious. I'm not great at that, but I do my best to be able to spend the time I can with my kids. I try and exercise, but let's face it, that's usually the thing that goes first. I know other people like that too. The main thing for me is my passion for writing and speaking and getting words out into the community. So being able to write is a really important part of my work-life balance. And lately I've been getting up 6:30 just so I can spend half an hour to an hour writing every single day. And every day I do that, I feel better. So that, to me, even though it may be a weird version of work-life balance, is something that helps. And the other thing that helps is making sure I've got really healthy friendships in the mix. And just a really funny thing, but trying to avoid gossip, that really helps me with my work-life balance. Gossip's such a delicious thing, but when I find that I get wrapped up in that, and that's easy in a small community, it's not good for me. So I'm really careful about what kind of energies come into my life, my house, around my family, because I do find that if they're negative energies, it just makes work-life balance, life balance, happiness, all the rest of that more difficult. What is the most important thing you do when managing a team? Again, I'm not always wonderful at it, but the most important thing is honest and open communication. And you can't always have that with every team member, and generally that will mean that they're probably not the right team member to have at the table. My communication style can be a little bit colloquial, or sometimes a little bit too honest, and not everybody likes that. So sometimes team members aren't necessarily the right people at the table, or I'm not the right fit for them, and that's important to know, I think. But my most important thing to do when managing a team by far is communication, and making sure that it's open, transparent, and people feel comfortable to say what they need to say. What is the most important piece of advice you've received in running a successful business? Look, I've had so many good mentors over the years, and I've felt really, really privileged to be able to have those mentors at my disposal. One of the most important pieces of advice that I would give is just to ask, because you will be surprised how many people actually want to help you. But if you don't ask, they probably won't step up and do it. So that would be my most important piece of advice. And I guess some important advice that I've received is around, just because you're putting something out there doesn't mean people are going to get it. It actually takes people a really, really long time to understand what it is that you're doing. So Luna's come to join us now. There she is. You're on. Yeah, good girl. She's on the top 10 now anyway. Nevertheless, just keep going. And if the market isn't responding to what you're doing, don't pivot too quickly. Just give people a bit of a chance to understand what it is that you're doing. So anyway, thank you all for joining me. This is the 20th 10 at 10, and I'm so pleased and grateful for all of you that have participated in it. Russell and I will run another series at some point in time, but in the meantime, go back through the site and have a look at some of the gold. There's been so many good hints and tips throughout this series, and I'm really grateful for everybody that's participated. Have a great day and good luck in your small business running, and I hope you're surviving and thriving during COVID times. I look forward to staying connected to you. See you.